Despite its name, Fang was an ordinary small town in a northern province of Chiang Mai, situated on the banks of a river. It made a convenient stopover for river traders and passengers throughout most of the year. A few barges, rafts, and sometimes even a large sailboat could usually be found moored at Fang. But all that was long ago, before the creation of the Trial of Champions. Now, once a year, the river is crammed with boats as people arrive from hundreds of miles around, hoping to witness the breaking of an ancient tradition and see a victor in the Trial of Champions.
So, tell me more about it.
On the 1st of May each year, warriors and heroes come to Fang to face the test of their lives. Survival is unlikely, yet many take the risk, for the prize is great. A purse of 10,000 gold pieces and the freedom of Chiang Mai forever. But to become champion is no easy task. Some years ago, a powerful baron of Fang called Sukhumvit decided to bring attention to his town by creating the ultimate contest. With the help of the townspeople, he constructed a labyrinth deep in the hillside behind Fang, from which there was only one exit. The labyrinth was filled with all kinds of deadly tricks and traps and loathsome monsters. Sukhumvit had designed it in meticulous detail, so that anybody hoping to face its challenge would have to use their wits as well as weapon skill. When he was finally satisfied that all was complete, he put his labyrinth to the test. He picked 10 of his finest guards, and fully armed, they marched into the labyrinth. They were never seen again. The tale of the ill-fated guards soon spread throughout the land, and it was then that Sukhumvit announced the first Trial of Champions. Messengers and news sheets carried his challenge, 10,000 gold pieces and freedom of Chiang Mai forever to any person surviving the perils of the labyrinth of Fang. The first year, 17 brave warriors attempted the walk, as it later became known. Not one reappeared. As the years passed and the Trial of Champions continued, it attracted more and more challengers and spectators. Fang prospered and would prepare itself months in advance for the spectacle it hosted each May. The town would be decorated, tents erected, dining halls built, musicians, dancers, fire-eaters, illusionists, and every sort of entertainer hired, and entries registered from hopeful individuals intent on making the walk. The last week of April found the people of Fang and its visitors in wild celebration. Everybody sang, danced, and laughed until the day broke on the 1st of May, when the town thronged to the gates of the labyrinth to watch the first challenger of the year step forward to face the Trial of Champions. Having seen one of Sukhumvit's challenges nailed to a tree, you decide that this year you will attempt the walk. For the last 5 years, you have been attracted to it not for the rewards, but for the simple fact that nobody has ever yet emerged victorious from the labyrinth. You intend to make this the year in which a champion is crowned. Gathering up a few belongings, you set off immediately. 2 days' walk takes you west to the coast, where you enter the cursed port Black Sand. Wasting no time in that city of thieves, you buy your passage on a small boat sailing north to where the river Coke meets the sea, and from there you raft upriver for 4 days, until finally you arrive in Fang. The trial begins in 3 days' time, and the town is in an almost hysterical mood of excitement. You register your entry with the officials and are given a violet scarf to tie around your arm. informing everyone of your status. For 3 days, you enjoy Fang's greatest hospitality and are treated like a demigod. During the long merriment, you almost forget your purpose in Fang, but the evening before the trial, the magnitude of the task ahead begins to dominate your thoughts. Later, you are taken to a special guest house and are shown your room. There is a splendid 4-poster bed with satin sheets to help you rest, but there is little time left for sleep. Just before dawn, a trumpet call awakens you from vivid dreams of flaming pits and giant black spiders. Minutes later, there is a knock on your door, and a man's voice rings out saying, "Your challenge begins soon. Please be ready to leave in 10 minutes." You climb out of bed, walk over to the window and open the shutters. Already people are thronging the streets, moving quietly through the morning mist. Spectators, no doubt on their way to the labyrinth, hoping to find good vantage points from which to watch the competitors. Walking over to a wooden table on which your trusty sword and shield lie, you pick them up and cut the air with a mighty sweep, wondering which beasts your sword's sharp edge may soon have to meet. You open the door into the corridor, and a small man greets you with a low bow as you emerge from your bedroom. "Please follow me," he says. He turns to his left and walks quickly towards the stairs at the end of the corridor. Walking through a parting in the crowds, you see Baron Succumvit himself. You count 5 others standing proudly in line, their violet scarves displayed for all to see. There are 2 bare-chested barbarians dressed in furs. They stand completely motionless, legs straight and slightly apart, arms thrust forward to rest on the hilts of their long, double-headed battle axes. A sleek elven woman with golden hair and feline green eyes is adjusting the crossbelt of daggers wrapped around her leather tunic. Of the 2 remaining men, one is covered head to foot in iron-plate armor with a plumed helmet and a crested shield. The other is cloaked in black robes, with only his dark eyes showing between the swords of his black face scars. Long knives, a wire garrote, and other silent death weapons hang from his belt. The 5 contenders acknowledge your arrival with almost imperceptible nods of the head, and you turn to face the exultant crowd for the last time. Suddenly, a hush falls over the crowd as Baron Succumvit steps forward, holding 6 bamboo sticks. You draw one from his outstretched hand, and you read the word, 5th. Then the trial begins. The knight is first. He salutes the crowd before disappearing into the tunnel, and is followed half an hour later by the elf. Next goes a barbarian, and then the dark assassin. Next, it's your turn. But before embarking on your adventure, we must first determine your own strengths and weaknesses. You have in your possession a sword, a shield, and a backpack for carrying provisions for the trip. You have been preparing for your quest by training yourself in swordplay and exercising vigorously. To see how effective your preparations have been, dice will be rolled to determine your skill, stamina, and luck scores. Or, if you wish to begin your adventure immediately, you can choose between 3 ready-made adventurers.
Okay. Also, wir rollen natürlich für Skill. Das ist sehr viel jetzt auf einmal gewesen. Aber ich habe so das meiste verstanden. Also so wie ich das verstanden habe, Machen wir jetzt so etwas wie ja, American Gladiator oder Germany's Next Ninja Warrior. Ja, wir müssen einfach ein Turnier gewinnen, das noch nie jemand gewonnen hat. In einem Dungeon. In dem Darkest Dungeon wahrscheinlich. Ich bin dabei. Roll for Skill.
First, we'll roll for your initial level of skill. This reflects your sword skill and fighting expertise, and will be determined by rolling.
Wie oft darf ich denn würfeln? Nur einmal?
6.
Das wäre nicht schön. Lass mich ein paar Mal würfeln. Ich finde das in Ordnung.
Next, we'll roll for your initial stamina, which represents your strength. So the higher your stamina score, the longer you will survive. This will be determined by rolling 2 dice and adding 12.
Ja, das war jetzt unschön. Reroll. Yeah, re-roll. That's better.
Next, we'll roll for your initial luck, which represents how lucky an adventurer you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy world you're about to explore. This is determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6.
Lustig wäre ja, wenn jetzt bei Luck das andersrum wäre. Je weniger man hat, desto besser ist das fürs Spiel. Macht keinen Sinn, aber whatever. Continue.
You may also take a magical potion with you to aid you on your quest. Each bottle of potion contains 2 measures, so can be used twice during an adventure. You can choose from a potion of skill that restores your skill points to their initial amount, a potion of strength that restores your stamina points to their initial amount, or a potion of fortune that not only restores your luck points to their initial amount, but will also increase your initial luck score by 1 each time it's used.
Ja, das ist jetzt schwer zu sagen. Ich weiß nämlich immer noch nicht so ganz, was für was steht. Also das könnte jetzt Schaden sein, das Leben, das halt mehr Glück bei den Würfeln. Ich versuche jetzt einfach mein Glück mit dem Glück. Wir gehen auf Glück. Da ein Shoutout an den Mann, der immer auf Glück skillen will. Ja?
Lastly, before you begin your quest, you are given enough provisions for 10 meals. When you eat a meal, your stamina score will increase by 4 points. But don't forget, your stamina can never exceed the initial amounts you've just set. You have a long way to go, so use your provisions wisely. During your adventure, you'll enter into combat a number of times, and the further you go, the tougher your opponents will be. Combat takes place over several rounds, and your attack strength is based on yours and your enemy's skill scores. For each round of battle, we'll roll 2 dice for you and 2 for your opponent, adding the results to your skill scores. These are your respective attack strengths. Whoever's attack strength is the highest wins that round of combat. If you both had the same attack strength in a round, then it will be a tie. In some battles, you can take an opportunity to escape. But beware. If you do run away, your opponent will automatically score 1 hit on you as you flee, costing you 2 stamina points. So be sure you have enough. Such is the price of cowardice.
Cowardice, Bro. Also
You
hatte ich
are
recht.
playing
12 ist fürs
using the new
Damagen
battle
und
system,
22 ist mein
where the
Health
battle
und
takes place over 3
11 mal gucken.
rounds. Your sheer battle-hardened nature will mean you'll always win the battle after the 3 rounds, but every round you lose will cost you 2 stamina points. So be careful. Losing all your stamina will still be fatal. At the start of each round, you'll have a short time to decide to fight or to build up your stamina by eating your provisions or taking a potion, if you have one.
Wait, what? Original Battle System? Ey, das ist eine sehr gute Sache. Da kann ich nämlich schön jetzt einen rauchen und mir das anhören. Also learn und wait a minute. Wait a second, bro.
You are playing using the traditional battle system from the original Death Trap Dungeon book. At the start of each round, you'll have a short time to decide to fight or to build up your stamina by eating your provisions or taking a potion, if you have one. After each battle round, you'll be able to test your luck. By using luck in battles, you can either score a more serious wound on your opponent or minimize the effects of a wound scored on you. If you test your luck after you have just wounded your opponent, we'll roll 2 dice, and if the total is the same or less than your current luck score, you will have been lucky and will take an extra 2 points from your opponent's stamina. But if the roll is greater, then the damage to your opponent will be halved. If your opponent has just inflicted a 2 stamina wound on you, a lucky roll will halve that damage, but an unlucky roll will take an additional stamina point. One last thing. Testing your luck has a cost. Each time you test your luck score will be reduced by 1 point.
Ja, das ist interessant, weil man bei dem alten Battle System natürlich viel mehr mit dem Luck jongliert. Aber ich nehme jetzt mal das Neue. Back to the new Battle System. Das klang jetzt auf jeden Fall straightforward und einfacher.
You are playing using the new battle system, where the battle takes place over 3 rounds. Your sheer battle-hardened nature will mean you'll always win the battle after the 3 rounds, but every round you lose will cost you 2 stamina points. So be careful. Losing all your stamina will still be fatal. At the start of each round, you'll have a short time to decide to fight or to build up your stamina by eating your provisions or taking a
Ja,
potion.
also ist wahrscheinlich das neue Battle System der Easy Mode und das alte das normale halt. Ja, play using. Yeah.
Now it is your turn to salute the crowd. Holding your violet scarf aloft, you take one final deep breath of cool, fresh air before turning to pass between the stone-pillared gateway into Sukhumvit's corridors of power to face unknown perils on the walk through the mighty Baron's Death Trap Dungeon.
Okay. Yeah, let's do something. Okay.
The clamour of the excited spectators gradually fades behind you as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-metre intervals, radiating just enough soft light for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become accustomed to the near darkness, you begin to see movement all around. Spiders and beetles crawling up and down the chiseled walls disappear quickly into cracks and crevices as they sense your approach. Rats and mice scurry along the floor ahead of you. Droplets of water drip into small pools with an eerie plopping sound which echoes down the tunnel. The air is cold, moist, and dank. After walking slowly along the tunnel for about 5 minutes, you arrive at a stone table standing against the wall to your left. On it, there are 6 boxes, one of which has your name painted on its lid.
Oh, eine Kiste mit meinem Namen drauf. Dann muss ich die öffnen.
The lid of the box lifts off easily, and inside you find 2 gold pieces and a note written on a small piece of parchment addressed to you. After placing the gold in your pocket, you read the message, which says, "Well done. At least you had the sense to stop and take advantage of the token aid given to you. Now I can advise you that you will need to find and use several items if you hope to pass triumphantly through my death-trap dungeon. Signed, Succumvit."
Mit?
Memorizing the advice on the note, you tear it into tiny pieces and continue north along the tunnel, where you come to a junction. A white arrow painted on one wall points west. On the floor, you can see wet footprints made by those who entered before you. It's hard to be sure, but it looks as though 3 of them followed the direction of the arrow, while one decided to go east.
Ho, ho, ho. Gehen wir da, wo alle sterben, oder gehen wir da, wo einer stirbt? Yeah, east. Let's go.
Ahead, you can see a large obstruction on the tunnel floor. Although it is too dark to make out exactly what it is, the wet eastbound footprints you have been following carry on towards the obstruction.
Continue east.
You see that the obstruction is a large brown boulder-like object. You touch it with your hand and are surprised to find that it is soft and spongy.
Soft and spongy. Slice it open. Oh my god, I can slice something. Yeah, let's slice it. Come on.
Your sword easily pierces the thin outer casing of the giant spore ball. A thick brown cloud of spores bursts out of the ball and envelops you. Some of the spores stick to your skin and start to itch terribly.
Oh Gott, direkt Super AIDS
You
bekommen.
lose 2
Oh
stamina
mein Gott.
points as great lumps come up on your face and arms.
Okay.
And your skin feels as if it is on fire.
Ja.
Frantically scratching your itching lumps, you step over the now deflated spore ball. Pressing on east,
Das war
you
dumm,
turn
aber egal.
left, which heads north for as far as you can see. The footprints you are following start to peter out as the tunnel becomes gradually drier. Soon you are beyond the dripping roof and the pools on the floor. You notice the air becoming hotter, and you find yourself panting even though you are walking quite slowly. In a small recess on the left-hand wall, you see a section of bamboo standing on its end. Lifting it down, you see it is filled with a clear liquid. Your throat is painfully dry, and you feel a little dizzy from the heat in the tunnel.
Oh, ja, wenn wir das jetzt saufen, sterben wir wahrscheinlich direkt, ne? Subtitles on, das wollte ich nämlich noch tun. Ja, yeah, drink it, baby.
The water in the bamboo pipe is welcomely refreshing and adds 1 stamina point.
Okay.
It also contains a magical solution which will enable you to be exposed to melting point temperatures without harm. Discarding the bamboo, you start off north again, in good spirits.
Ja, auf jeden.
You find yourself dripping with sweat as the temperature continues to rise. As you struggle on, the heat intensifies until it becomes so unbearable that you feel yourself begin to pass out.
Again.
Although the temperature in the tunnel is higher than you could normally tolerate, the liquid from the bamboo pipe keeps you alive, and mercifully, after a few moments, the temperature drops rapidly.
Oh mein Gott.
And soon feels almost
Also hätte ich jetzt das nicht gesoffen, wäre ich da gestorben vielleicht? Oder hätte ich richtig viel Damage bekommen? Okay.
It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
Ooh, try to slide the iron plate. Yeah.
The small plate slides open easily, and you find yourself peering into a room with a deep pit in the floor behind the door. On the opposite wall, there is a coil of rope hanging on one of 2 iron hooks.
Fire coil. Open the door, jump over the pit and take the rope. Oh yeah, das machen wir. Auf jeden Fall. Wir machen jetzt richtig Action. Jetzt würfeln wir doch. Jetzt würfeln wir. Wir würfeln jetzt. Komm. Lass mich würfeln. Let me.
You put the rope in your backpack and jump back over the pit
Easy.
to leave the room and head north.
Das war ja
Ahead,
nicht so schwer.
you see that the tunnel turns sharply to the left. You turn a corner and almost bump straight into 2 fierce-looking orcs, armed with morning stars and wearing leather armor. You are totally unprepared for them and struggle to ready your weapons.
Na, wat?
The orcs roar. And as you draw your sword, one of them swings its morning star at you, which sinks agonizingly into your left thigh,
Aua.
costing you 3 stamina points.
Das ist ja wohl ein Witz.
You stagger backwards, but manage to regain your balance in time to defend yourself. Fortunately, the tunnel is too narrow for both orcs to attack you at once, so you fight them, one at a time.
Die können nix. Eat provisions? No. No. We attack.
The orc is strong but slow, and you're able to strike hard with your sword. Your shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack, while you're able to hack at its leg. You raise your sword to parry the attack, and are able to kick the orc hard in the stomach. The first orc slumps lifeless to the floor, so you turn your attention to the other.
So. No provisions. Attack!
The orc is strong and slow, and you're able to strike hard with your sword. You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
Okay, das war 4. Wollte ich nochmal ausprobieren.
Your shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack, while you're able to hack at its leg. You raise your sword to parry the attack, and are able to kick the orc hard in the stomach. Inside one of the orc's pockets, you find 1 gold piece and a hollow wooden tube. You put your findings in your backpack and set off west. As you walk along, droplets of water again start falling from the tunnel's ceiling. Heading west, you see wet footprints made by the same boots that you followed earlier. They lead to a closed iron door in the right-hand wall of the tunnel, but do not seem to go any further.
Ja, einfach mal
The
aufmachen.
door opens into a large chamber, where you are shocked to see one of your rivals who has obviously met a sudden gory death.
Ooh.
It is one of the barbarians, and he is impaled on several long iron spikes that are fixed to a frame which has sprung out of the floor. A lot of debris litters the floor, concealing a hidden tripwire which he must have stepped on, releasing the spiked frame. In the far wall is an alcove, in which you can see a silver goblet standing on a small wooden table.
Oh, das ist jetzt sehr wichtig. Insofern muss ich jetzt mal eine rauchen gehen. So, das ist awesome. Also bisher finde ich das genau das, was ich haben wollte. Einfach ein Typ, der mit mir Pen and Paper spielt. Einfach, ich spiele alleine mit ihm Pen and Paper. Und das ist das Spiel. Und das ist fantastisch. Es ist fantastisch. Ich hoffe, es gibt noch hunderte von DLCs dafür, weil ich möchte das einfach nur weiterspielen. Das ist sehr gut. Search the Barbarian wäre nicht so gut. Das können wir nicht machen. Das wäre feige. Wir müssen eine dieser beiden Sachen tun. Ich bin mir aber nicht sicher, ob ich den noch looten will. Aber wahrscheinlich werde ich das tun. Ja, wahrscheinlich werde ich das tun. Aber das machen wir gleich in 5 Minuten. So, meine Damen und Herren, jetzt gehen wir zum Barbarian, looten ihn und kriegen richtig Schaden wahrscheinlich durch irgendeine Falle.
The pouch on the barbarian's belt is empty, apart from some strange looking
Fuck the
dried
Barbarian.
meat wrapped in a cloth.
Eat the dried meat, leave the meat and walk over to the alcove. Ich würde ja ganz gerne einfach nur das Meat mitnehmen, ne? Und dann sagen, ich habe den getötet. Ne? Dem Bruder dann sagen, ich habe den getötet. Do I eat this? Yeah, let's do this.
The meat contains herbs which increase your strength, adding 3 to your stamina score.
Yeah, but it doesn't work because I'm full. Okay. We'll go over to the alcove. Yeah, let's go.
You walk slowly over to the alcove, carefully checking the floor for any more hidden traps. You see that the goblet contains a sparkling red liquid.
Ja, das ist der schlimmste Bait aller Zeiten. Der schlimmste Bait aller Zeiten. Aber warum soll ich das nicht saufen? Ja? Ist das nicht das Beste hier? Das ist doch der Mega-Buff. Das ist der Mega-Buff. Let's go.
As you lift the goblet, it releases a sprung catch, and a dart shoots out of the wooden table leg.
Ja, whatever.
This will be a test of your luck.
Ja, ich habe aber Lack gut.
We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky.
Ja, Alter.
But if the roll is higher than your luck
11.
score, then your luck isn't in.
Bro, ich hab...
Your reflexes are sharp.
Yeah.
You quickly jump aside.
I dodged this
The
shit.
dart whistles past,
Ooh.
only just missing you,
Yeah.
and thuds into the opposite wall.
Yeah, genau,
You see the
baby.
goblet lying on the floor, and the red liquid running away in rivulets over the grey stone.
Oh Gott, jetzt habe ich das
At
verschüttet.
least the goblet may be of use. So you put it in your backpack, leave the chamber, and continue west.
West.
The
Okay.
passage soon leads to a junction, where you notice more footprints on the floor,
Das ist das größte Spiel aller
possibly as
Zeiten.
many as 3
Der
pairs,
Typ redet einfach die ganze Zeit
heading
mit mir.
north from the south passage. You decide to follow them to where the passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the center of the cavern that must be 6
That's big.
meters high. In its head are jeweled eyes, each as big as your fist.
Das ist ja
On
Fist,
either
Junge.
side of the idol stand 2 giant stuffed, bird-like creatures.
Kleinmodi. Ja, wir nehmen das jetzt nicht, weil das bringt uns nicht weiter. Right? Right. So. Warum sollten wir uns jetzt bereichern, wenn wir doch einfach nur weitergehen können?
Not much farther down the tunnel, you come to a closed door on your left. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently but hear nothing.
Open the door. Yeah.
You enter a room which is small and completely empty.
That
As soon as you are inside, the door
Uh-oh.
slams shut behind you.
Kampf.
Suddenly a voice booms out of nowhere, shouting, "Welcome to Death Trap Dungeon, the ingenious killer labyrinth of my master. Adventurer, I trust you will pay your respects to my master by shouting out his name."
Ich hab's gewusst. Ich wusste es. Ach so, ja, man muss sich das doch nicht merken. Zukunft. Hail oder nicht Hail? I mean, wir könnten kämpfen oder wir können halt feige sein. Aber wir machen ja das erste Playthrough machen wir jetzt erstmal schön auf mutig. Also, das Schwein ist ein
You take a
Schwein.
deep breath and shout,
Succumvit as a worm. Once again, the mysterious voice calls out, only this time, to your great surprise, in a far less threatening tone.
Nö.
Good. My master likes those who show spirit. Take this gift to help you.
Ich bin der beste
It will grant
Spieler
you one
EU.
wish, but one wish only. Farewell. A gold ring magically appears out of nowhere and lands at your feet with a gentle tinkle. You pick it up and put it on one of your fingers. The door opens and you step back into the tunnel to continue north.
Bester
The
Spieler
tunnel
EU.
twists and turns, but keeps steadily north. Ahead, you see a thin shaft of blue light streaming down from the ceiling to the floor. It sparkles and shimmers, and you can see images of laughing faces in the light.
Ich meine, die lachen ja alle, ne? Eigentlich sollte das ja mehr Comedy sein. Also wir sind mutig mal wieder und gehen durch das fucking Licht.
As soon as your head goes under the blue light, you hear the sound of muffled voices. The faces are no longer laughing, but have changed their expressions to one of despair and
Ja,
anguish.
wieso das denn?
A
Ich hab doch
young
nichts
girl's
gemacht.
sad face
Ich hab nichts
hovers in
gemacht.
front of you,
Ich habe nichts
and she
gemacht.
begins to whisper a poem. Transfixed, you listen intently, believing that she has a special message for you as she recites, "When corridor doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat. Take a breath and jump deep in, if your trial you hope to win." Memorizing the spirit girl's poem, you step through the shaft of light
Okay.
and quickly head on north. You come to an arched doorway set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel. The heavy stone door is closed, but there is an iron latch and a round handle.
Try the door. Yeah, I mean, why not, ne?
Lifting the latch, pushing the heavy stone door open, you find yourself in a large cabin. The light is dim and murky, but as your eyes begin to adjust, you see that the walls are covered in green algae and running with moisture. The floor is strewn with straw. The atmosphere is warm, damp, and fetid, and a soft humming sound fills the air. You step gingerly through the straw towards a corner of the cabin where there appears to be a shallow pit. Peering warily into the pit, you are disgusted to see a mass of pale, writhing worms, some as much as half a meter long.
Das ist wirklich
Nauseated,
Das ist wirklich
you're about to turn away when you notice that their undulating bodies are swarming around a dagger. Its point held fast in a crack in the pit floor. The hilt is cased in black leather, studded with opals,
Oh.
and the blade is fashioned from a strange, reddish-black burnished metal you have never seen before.
Oh, das ist epic oder
You long
legendary.
to touch the dagger, but this would mean plunging your hand in
Oh,
among the writhing worms.
the writhing worms. Okay. I mean, I need this. I need this. Give me that.
Taking a deep breath, you lean over the pit and plunge your forearm into the mass of wriggling worms. They are cold and clammy and feel extremely nasty, but at least they are harmless.
They're fucking harmless.
And you are
So,
able to seize the dagger by the hilt.
easy.
You give it a hard tug and it comes away from the crack in which the tip was embedded.
Ich meine, das ist wahrscheinlich
Admiring its beauty
fucking Bait.
and wondering
Der
whether
Dagger wird
it
mich
might
jetzt umbringen
once
irgendwann.
belong to some luckless contestant.
Muss ich mir das wahrscheinlich selber
You put the
in den Hals
opal-studded
rammen.
dagger firmly in your belt and leave the cabin. As you make your way back to the doorway, The buzzing sound increases
Ja,
in
das gefällt mir
intensity.
nicht. Ich mag keine
And you
Insekten.
look
Was soll das?
around desperately to discover where it's coming from. Glancing up in the nick of time, you see a huge and grotesque black shape of a giant fly emerging from a recess high up in the cavern wall.
Oh oh.
As it gets closer, you realize that it's at least 1.5 meters long. Its opaque wings vibrate, making the sickening buzzing noise you can hear. And its 6 black, hairy legs are poised to grasp your body. Below, its multifaceted eyes is a long, shiny black proboscis, which darts in and out venomously. You have stolen the giant fly's treasure from her brood of maggots, and you must face the consequences.
Yeah, I do.
It's time to test your luck again.
Oh, okay. Immer noch 11.
A roll equal to or less than your luck score means you've been lucky.
Also benutzt. Also heißt das, dass man bei den neuen Regeln nicht -1 bekommt, wenn man das nutzt überhaupt. Das heißt, ich kann ja hier eigentlich fast nicht verlieren.
The giant fly swoops down again to try to capture you, but this time you manage to evade its outstretched legs. Stepping back, you draw your sword to prepare to fight the hideous insect as it turns to attack you.
Ja, das ist der Belzebub. Der Belzebub. Ich vernichte ihn. Eat provisions? No, we don't need that. Let's kill him. Kill him. Oh.
The creature flies at you so close you can't use your weapons. Grabbing it by its legs, you swing around, slamming it into a wall.
Boah. Escape? Nix hier. Attack. And destroy him. 20, 11. Hier wird nicht weggerannt.
You hurl yourself at your enemy, fist flailing, and land a stunning blow.
Pleased with your victory, you wipe the vile yellow slime from the blade of your sword and walk quickly to the door, back to the tunnel, and head north.
North.
The tunnel ends shortly at a junction. Looking left and right, you see a narrow passage disappearing into the dim distance.
Okay. Ich meine, letztlich gibt es nur ein Lied von den Pet Shop Boys. Das war das hier.
Ahead, you hear the sound of rocks being ground and crushed.
Da bin ich auch hingegangen.
The noise grows louder, and suddenly you realize that the wall on your right is starting to collapse.
Oh oh.
Terrified, you watch as a large, hideous, worm-like creature with a gaping mouth and powerful mandibles slithers through a hole in the wall. Its great jaws continue to crunch the rock as it turns its head slowly from side to side, feeling the cool air in the tunnel. It appears to be totally blind, but seems to know of your presence, perhaps sensing the heat of your body. It starts to slither towards you with its mandibles wide apart to attack.
Ja, warum denn? Ich wollte doch jetzt eigentlich... komm. Wir sind so nah. Let's fucking kill him.
You draw your sword and advance slowly towards the huge, slimy rock grub.
Attack.
Grub is strong, but slow. You swing your sword, which smashes into its pulsating body.
Oh, das ist schlecht.
You try to run around the side of the creature, but it grabs your arm, throwing you hard into the wall.
Das ist nicht gut. Eat.
You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
Komm, wir brauchen ja ein bisschen Glück hier. Ja, das
You
ist nicht
thrust
das.
your sword, and you clearly damaged the creature.
Pleased with your combat skills, you step round the great bulk of the dead rock grub and peer into the darkness of the borehole.
Ja, also wenn man 3 Runden aushält, dann hat man hier gewonnen.
few
Also ist das
meters,
wirklich super, super easy
are
Mode.
able to make out that it
Ich hätte doch das
inclines
andere nehmen
slightly
sollen,
and
weil das
is
ist
wet
echt nicht spannend.
from the secreted slime of the rock grub.
Explore the borehole, yeah.
Tapping the side of the borehole with your sword, you tread your way blindly through the sticky slime. You follow its twisting and turning course for what seems an age and begin to wonder where it might lead. Suddenly, you hear a slithering sound up ahead. You freeze with fear, your eyes desperately trying to pierce the pitch-black darkness. Before you realize what is happening, you are gripped round the neck by the powerful mandibles of another rock grub. It is the mate of the rock grub you killed and has been attracted by the smell of blood on your sword.
Natürlich.
It squeezes harder until your neck snaps like a small twig.
Oh,
Your adventure.
okay. I love it. Ja, also man sollte sich nicht mit riesigen Würmern anlegen. Das ist auf jeden Fall ne, die Erfahrung, die man jetzt gemacht hat. Man lernt immer wieder dazu. Ja, das ist genau das, was ich haben wollte. Außer jetzt, dass ich jetzt hier nicht unbedingt sterben wollte. Ich wollte es noch weiterspielen. Ich mache jetzt gleich noch einen kleinen Run. Vielleicht kommen wir da noch ein bisschen weiter. Vielleicht gehen wir ja gleich die andere Richtung. Direkt nach Osten, nicht nach Westen. It's good. It's fun. It's fantastic. Es ist genau das, was ich haben wollte. Und deswegen machen wir das gleich nochmal. Und wir können sogar, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Also man kann hier tatsächlich auch irgendwo weitermachen. Which is fucking awesome. Genau, hier wäre nämlich der andere Weg gewesen. Und jetzt gehen wir nicht hier hin, sondern gehen hier weiter, right? Dann können wir hier geradeaus gehen. Das finde ich gut, das finde ich nice. Dass man direkt auch gucken kann, wo man noch nicht war, finde ich spitzenmäßig. Auch hier kann man dann plötzlich da lang gehen und dann ist derselbe Weg wie hier wahrscheinlich. That's alright. Ich muss jetzt erstmal rauchen und was zum Trinken holen. Und dann machen wir auf jeden Fall hier noch ein Stündchen. Nicht ein Ründchen, ein Stündchen. Von hier aus wahrscheinlich. Save Point Play. Und das hier ist was? Das ist ein Work, okay.
Ahead, you can see a large obstruction on the tunnel floor.
Genau, und jetzt kann man head west, continue east. So.
You see that the obstruction is a large brown boulder-like object.
Oder? Habe ich das falsch gemacht? Climb over it. Wait, what? Ah, what? Okay.
You clamber onto the soft boulder,
Wie kann ich denn
half
hier schauen?
expecting to be engulfed by it at any moment.
Wie
Getting
kann ich...
over it is difficult, as your limbs sink into its soft casing, but eventually you manage to struggle over it, relieved to be back on firm ground,
Also ist das
press
noch
on
nicht
east.
viel gespeichert.
where the tunnel makes a turn to the left and heads north for as far as you can see.
Wie kann ich denn... Artemis, Stats, Provisions, Jewels, Items, Weapons, Map. That's the map. Okay.
The footprints you are following start to peter out as the tunnel becomes
Drink the liquid, continue north.
You shake your head, trying desperately to stop yourself from blacking out. But the heat is too
Okay.
much for you, and you fall unconscious to the floor. Your immense strength and grim determination, and our skillful dice roll, keeps you from falling unconscious to the floor.
Okay.
You grit your teeth and press on resolutely. As mercifully, the temperature drops rapidly
Okay, da sind wir
and
wieder da.
soon feels almost cool again. On the left-hand side of the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
Ja. Aber jetzt nicht. Wir gehen erstmal weiter Norden.
Ahead, you see that the tunnel turns sharply to the left. The orcs roar.
Ja, was ist das hier mit
And
den
as you
Orks?
draw
ab?
your sword,
Okay, also gleich nochmal, aber jetzt erstmal kurze Pause. Wir sehen uns gleich. Bye, bye. Yeah, let's kill the orcs.
The
Okay,
orc
that's
is strong, but slow, and you're able to strike hard with your sword.
meine
Your
Güte.
shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack, while you're able to hack at its leg. You raise your sword to parry the attack, and are able to kick the orc hard in the stomach.
Ja.
The first orc slumps lifeless to the floor. So you
Oh.
The orc is strong, but slow,
Okay,
and
das hat
you're able
gereicht.
to strike hard with your sword.
22:16. Ah, okay. Oh.
Your shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack, while you're able to hack at its leg. You raise your sword to parry the attack, and are able to kick the orc hard in the stomach.
Inside one of the orc's pockets, you find one gold piece and a hollow wooden tube. You put your findings in your backpack.
Ja, das hatten wir schon. Okay. Keep going west.
The passage soon leads to a junction where you notice more footprints on the floor, possibly as many as 3 pairs, heading north from the south passage. You decide to follow them to where the passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the center of the cavern that must be 6 meters.
Nein, wir holen das immer noch nicht.
Not much farther down the tunnel, you come to a closed door.
Keep walking north.
The tunnel twists and turns, but keeps steadily north. Ahead, you see a thin shaft of blue light streaming down from the ceiling to the floor. As soon as your head goes under the blue light, you hear the sound of muffled voices. You come to an arched doorway set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel. The heavy stone door is closed, but there is an iron latch and a round handle.
Continue.
The tunnel ends shortly at a junction. Looking left and right, you see a narrow passage disappearing into the dim distance.
Okay, jetzt gehen wir east.
You walk down the passage and soon find yourself standing at the edge of a deep, dark pit. The passage continues east on the other side of the pit. You think you could probably jump over the pit, but
Yeah.
you're not sure. There is a rope hanging down from the ceiling over the center of the pit.
The fuck? Throw your shield over the pit? Reach for the rope. Yeah, take the rope.
Gripping the rope firmly, you step back to take a running jump. However, in the dim light, you do not notice that someone has cut the rope almost in two, just a little way above the section.
Come
As you
on.
swing out across the pit, it suddenly breaks,
Natürlich.
and you scream with fear as you plunge headlong to the depths below. You land heavily on your back. But
Oh,
luckily, your backpack cushions your fall, only costing you 1 skill point and 2 stamina points. It could have been much worse.
it
The
could be.
darkness is almost pitch black at the bottom of the pit, and you crawl along the floor, groping in front of you. Suddenly your hand touches something cold, hard, and smooth. The object is small and round, but you cannot figure out what it is. You place it in your backpack, hoping to see what it is once you are out of the pit. You continue to crawl forward and soon reach the pit wall. It's too smooth to climb, and you have to cut hand and toe holds in it with your sword. This takes a long time, but finally you climb out of the pit on the east side. You immediately check out the object in your backpack and discover that you have found an orb of blood-red ruby. You are absolutely delighted and head off east in high spirits, whistling softly.
Okay. Ich weiß nicht, was das ist.
Makes a sudden left turn and continues north, as far as you can see. You soon arrive at a closed wooden door in the left-hand wall. The door opens into a large candlelit room filled with incredibly lifelike statues of knights and warriors. A white-haired old man dressed in tattered rags jumps out from behind one of the statues and starts to giggle. Though he looks like a fool, the sparkle in his eyes makes you think there is more to him. In a high-pitched voice, he says, "Oh, good! Another stone for my garden. I'm glad you have come to join your friends. Now, I'm a fair man, so I'll ask you a question. If you answer correctly, I'll let you go free. But if your answer is wrong, I'll turn you to stone." He starts to chuckle again, obviously pleased with your arrival.
Okay, wait for his questions. Run for the door. Ich meine, das wird wahrscheinlich sinnlos sein. Yeah.
The old man points at one of the statues, and you recognize it immediately. It is the knight who started the Trial of Champions. The agonized look on his face locked in stone for eternity. The old man smiles, saying,
"This man weighs 100 pounds plus half his weight. How much does he weigh?"
"What will you answer?"
Ja, ich meine, Fett.
Still smiling, the old man looks at you and says quietly, "Wrong." And before you can do anything else, he mumbles a few strange words into the air. You feel your muscles harden, your skin
Was
go
war
taut.
daran falsch?
You start
Ich
to
weiß
panic,
es nicht.
but there is nothing you can do
Nothing,
to stop the
it's
petrification of
over.
your adventure.
Ends here. But why? Just why? Why did I do wrong? Wait, what is this? Hier bin ich nicht weitergegangen, aber...
The tunnel makes a sudden left turn and continues north, as far as you can see. The door opens into a large candlelit room filled with incredibly... The old man points at one of the statues, and you recognize it immediately.
Das ist doch hier Verarschung, oder?
Still smiling, the old man looks at you and says,
"Well done, stranger. You have answered correctly. I wish you good fortune during the rest of the Trial of Champions. And to this end, I shall increase your powers."
He then
Oh,
mutters a few more unintelligible words, and you feel a powerful surge soar through your body, increasing your skill, stamina, and luck by 1. You bid the old man farewell and leave his room to continue north along the passage. Only a
Warum
few
200?
meters further down the passage,
verstehe nicht.
you see another closed door in the left-hand wall. The letter X is scratched into its center panel. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently, but can hear nothing.
Open the fucking door,
The
man.
door opens into a large room. Looking around, you see an alcove in the west wall. In the middle of the room, sitting in the chair, is the skeleton of an armed warrior, possibly a contestant from years gone by. The skeletal fingers of its right hand grip a crumpled parchment.
Das will ich haben.
Touching the parchment has precisely the effect you had feared. The skeleton lurches forward and, rising from its chair in a series of jerky movements, raises its sword to strike you. Lunging sideways, you draw your sword to defend yourself.
Okay.
Armed is gut.
Fantastisch.
Strong.
Fantastisch.
Slow. You swing your sword, which smashes into its leg. You
Oh.
dodge to the side as the warrior swings its sword. You kick out, knocking its legs out from under it.
Okay.
You run
Not-
around the jerking skeleton, smashing your sword into its
He
arm.
is throwing much.
Once again, you reach for the parchment.
Ja, mich auch.
This time
Ist auf jeden Fall
lying amidst a
großartig.
pile of broken
Das ist das,
bones.
was ich wollte.
Unfolding it,
Ein englischer
you see a
Hauke, der
map
mir
of a room
Sachen
with a
vorliest.
drawing of a hideous creature inside it. Beneath the monster is a rhyme, which reads,
Dieter Ralph.
should you meet the manticore, of its tail beware. Shield yourself against the spikes.
Welche
flying
Tür?
through the air. You fold up the piece of parchment, put it in your backpack, repeating the rhyme over and over to yourself. You walk across to the alcove. At the back of the alcove are some steps leading down into a cellar. Cobwebs brush your face as you descend.
Oh,
The cellar ceiling is quite low, and the floor is strewn with debris. In the middle of the wall opposite you is an archway, which leads into another crystal-lit tunnel. There are large mushrooms growing on the debris to your right.
Mushrooms, also ganz ehrlich, nein. Bro, ich kann jetzt nicht einfach Pilze essen, die da wachsen, in der fucking Evil Höhle of Doom. We don't do this.
The tunnel continues west for several hundred meters, finally ending at some steps leading up to a closed trapdoor. You climb the steps slowly, hearing muffled voices above you. In the dim light, you can see that the trapdoor is not locked.
Okay. Absoluter Angriff. Let's go.
You throw the trapdoor open and run up the steps into a bright, lantern-lit room. Two goblins are sharpening their short swords on a stone set in the middle of the floor. You catch them momentarily off guard, but they quickly recover and both rush forward to attack you. A point of note here, adventurer. Because of the shape of the room, both goblins will have a separate attack on you each attack round. However, here your attack will only be effective on one of the goblins. Against the other, you must still use your attack strength in a normal way. But even if your attack would have been effective, you will not wound it.
Ja,
It will just count this as though you have defended yourself.
ja, ja, ist klar.
However, if its attack strength is greater, it will have wounded you in the normal way.
hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow.
Oh,
You
Mann.
both swing for each other, and in the confusion, both missed.
You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature. You lunge at the creature's stomach with your sword drawn, but the creature whips around, parrying your blow. Neither of you are harmed.
Ah.
Your enemy is strong, but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg.
Triumphant in one of your toughest battles to date, you see that the only furniture in the goblin's room is a table, 2 chairs, and a cupboard on the wall. There are 2 closed doors, one in the west wall and the other in the north wall. The cupboard contains a wooden mallet and 10 iron spikes, which you put in your backpack while wondering which door to open. The door opens into another tunnel, which rises gently into the distance. After walking uphill for a while, the tunnel levels out, and you soon arrive at a door in the right-hand wall, to which a withered hand is nailed. You enter a room in which a man in tattered clothing is standing chained to the wall by his left arm, and you see that his right hand is missing, and realize that this must be the one nailed to the door. Pleading for mercy, he cowers back from you as far as his chains will allow.
Cut him free. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Cut him free. Oh yeah, das machen wir gleich. Gleich, nicht jetzt. Es ist auf jeden Fall. Das kann niemals schief gehen, wenn wir den befreien. I love it. Bis gleich. Cut him free from his chains.
You step up to the frightened man and cleave the chain with your sword. He drops to his knees and bows, thanking you over and over again. He tells you that 4 years ago, he entered the Trial of Champions but failed. He fell down a pit and had to be rescued by a trial master, one of Baron Sukhumvit's dungeon administrators. He was offered a choice between death or servitude in Death Trap Dungeon as the trial master's minion.
Aber es ist wie Saw.
Choosing the latter, he worked like a slave until he could stand it no longer and tried to escape. Alas, he was unsuccessful and was captured by the trial master's wandering orc guards.
Ork.
To teach him a lesson,
Wow.
and condemned him to a year's imprisonment in this cell. You ask him whether he has any information that might be of use to you. He scratches his head. Well, I haven't exactly done very well in here myself, but I do know that you need to collect gems, precious stones, if you hope to get out.
Okay.
There it is.
Also muss man doch die scheiß Augen von der scheiß Statue holen.
Dashes out of the room, turning left.
This is not good.
You decide to keep heading north and turn right. There is an open pipe in the right-hand wall, about a meter in diameter. It is too dark to see far down it. You shout into it and hear your voice echoing down the iron pipe until eventually the sound fades away.
Crawl down the pipe. Yeah, let's crawl it.
The pipe is wet and slimy,
Slimy.
but you crawl on into the dank darkness, slithering and sliding as you go. Suddenly your hand touches something hard and square, which feels as if it is made of wood. It rattles as you shake it, and you decide you must be holding a box.
Crawl back. Yeah, ich meine, das ist wahrscheinlich das Schlauere. We do this.
Removing the box lid by the light of the tunnel, you find an iron key and a large gem. It is a sapphire.
Sapphire.
Placing the items carefully in your backpack, you gain 1 luck point and set off north once again. There is a new branch in the tunnel on your left, and ahead you see 2 bodies lying on the floor. You stop and peer down the new tunnel, but seeing no doors or creatures, you decide against walking down it. With your sword drawn, you walk over to the bodies of the 2 orc guards. At least one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions must still be ahead of you. A quick search of the bodies produces nothing, apart from a necklace of teeth around the neck of one of the orcs.
Not a necklace yourself. Yeah. Give me that.
Necklace is an amulet of strength, which adds 1 skill point and 1 stamina point. Pleased with your find, you continue your quest north. The tunnel soon ends at a junction. Standing there alone and wondering which way to go is one of your rivals. It is one of the barbarians. You call out to him, but at first he does not answer. He merely stares at you coldly, his hands firmly gripping his axe. You walk up to him and ask which way he is heading. He grunts his reply, saying that he is going west, and you may go with him if you wish.
Ja, let's go. Der Barbar, der ist kein
Although
Futter.
you are slightly uneasy in each other's company, knowing that there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions, you are both content to share in the benefits of a temporary alliance. And you begin to tell each other of your exploits so far, of the monsters and traps encountered and the dangers overcome. Walking along, you soon come to the edge of a wide pit. It is too deep and dark to see to the bottom. The barbarian suggests he lowers you to the bottom with his rope, saying he has a torch which he can light for you to use.
Ja, will er mich töten? Das ist die Frage. Offer to lower him down. Oh, yeah. Oder wir springen drüber. Ja, let's go.
The barbarian reluctantly agrees to your alternative suggestion. You both step back and take running jumps over the pit, landing safely on the other side. Pleased with the ease with which you cleared the obstacle, you continue down the tunnel. The barbarian, now a little reckless, fails to see a raised floor stone, which tilts forward as he stumbles over it, releasing a huge boulder loosely set in the ceiling.
Oh God, Indiana
Rock
Jones.
crashes down on top of the barbarian, knocking him to the floor, crushing his skull.
Oh my God.
You must now continue your quest.
Ja, gut.
Feeling sorry for the loss of your new companion, you carry on down the tunnel. Suddenly you see daylight. You run towards the most beautiful sight you have seen for a long time and emerge, expecting to see the welcoming sight of cheering people. But there is no hero's welcome from the people all around you. They are dead. You are standing in a cold chamber littered with armored skeletons and bodies.
What?
The exit to victory was just an illusion. Only the corpses of the past adventures are real. Utterly dejected, you walk back towards the tunnel, but hit an invisible barrier. You, like the adventurers tricked before you, are trapped in this ghoulish place and destined to end your days.
Oh, come on. Really? Oh, no. You suck so much. Wait, ist das der Weg jetzt? Man muss sich da runter.
Although you are slightly uneasy in each other's company, knowing that there can only be one.
Ja, dann accept oder offer to lower him down. Ja, I accept,
You
bro.
tie the rope around your waist and take hold of the lighted torch given to you by Throm, as your barbarian ally calls himself. Taking hold of the slack rope, Throm lowers you slowly over the edge of the pit and down into the dark depths below. You can see by the light of the torch that the sides of the pit are extremely smooth. You drop about 20 meters before hitting the bottom of the pit. There, you see another tunnel heading north, and you call up to Throm and tell him of your discovery. He calls back, saying that he is going to tie the rope around a protruding rock on the edge of the pit and will come down and join you.
Yeah, come on.
You hear him climbing down,
Come on.
and soon you are together again.
Easy.
Throm retrieves his rope by shaking it off the rock, and you set off north along the new tunnel. On a stone ledge in the tunnel wall, you see two dusty leather-bound books.
Uh-oh.
Throm grunts his contempt for the written word, urging you to leave the books and hurry
Ja,
up.
ist klar. Ey. Der kann ja nicht wirklich lesen. Ich weiß nicht. Ich muss das aufmachen. Eins von denen. Ich weiß nicht. The Black One. Ja, come on.
The book pages are sealed together, but a small hole has been cut out in the middle of them, just large enough to hold a small corked bottle containing a clear liquid. You show it to Throm, who holds up his hand, indicating that he does not want you to come anywhere near him with it. His distrust of things unknown is strongly evident.
Ooh. Open the red book. Yeah.
As you
Beides.
open the book, it immediately begins to disintegrate, the pages turning to dust in your hands. You manage to keep a few fragments and read the handwritten script. The book appears to be about monsters, and from what you can make out, it contains a full description of a monster called the Blood Beast. It is a horrific, bloated creature with tough, spiny skin and facial blisters which burst open to become mock eyes, evolved to hide the Blood Beast's only weak spot, the real eyes. Blood beasts usually dwell in pools of fetid slime which give off a poisonous gas so strong that it alone can easily knock people unconscious. The blood beast, although too bulbous to haul itself out of its slime pool, has a long and vicious tongue which it wraps around its victims before it drags them into its pool. As the helpless and still living victim's flesh decomposes in the vile slime, the blood beast will feed on it. You tell Throm about the grotesque blood beast. He merely shrugs his shoulders and tells you to get going. Setting off, you continue your journey north with Throm. The tunnel turns sharply to the right, continuing east for as far as you can see. Throm stops and tells you to halt as well. He turns his head slowly from side to side, listening. I hear footsteps coming down the tunnel towards us, he whispers. Draw your sword. You both crouch down to hide in the shadows, and not a minute too soon. For a moment later, you see the silhouette of two armed guards. Throm jumps up and dashes forward, screaming a loud battle cry.
Yeah.
They are two cave trolls. Throm attacks the first one with his battle axe, and you run to his aid to attack the second.
The troll takes a swing at your head. Thankfully, you duck just in time. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow. You drop to the ground, sweeping away the troll's legs. It howls as its head hits the hard ground.
You look to the left and see Throm standing over the cave troll he has slain. Blood is pouring out from a deep cut in his shoulder, but it does not seem to worry him. You search the bodies of the cave trolls, but find nothing apart from a bone ring on a leather cord hanging round the neck of one of them. The ring is engraved with a symbol which Throm recognizes. He explains that it must have belonged to druids of the north, and that an ancient talisman such as this will increase your powers if your body is able to accept it.
Keine Frage.
As soon as you put the ring on your finger, your whole body starts to shake. We'll see how skillful you really are. Remember, a roll equal to or less than your skill score means you've been skillful. But a roll higher than your skill could end badly. Your body continues to vibrate intensely, and you feel as if you're about to pass out. But your strength is great, and you manage to withstand the tremendous shock to your system. Finally, you calm down and begin to feel the ring's beneficial powers working on you and adding 3 stamina points. You see Throm looking at you anxiously, so you reassure him that you are fully recovered. He strides off east, and you follow him eagerly. The tunnel leads into a damp cavern with a high ceiling and rock-strewn floor.
Long and wet, teeth-like stalactites hang down threateningly. Their constant dripping creates smoky pools on the floor. The tunnel carries on through an archway carved in the shape of a demonic mouse. You walk around the cavern, but find nothing of interest. Throm calls out behind you, saying that he has found a leather pouch under a pile of rocks. Opening the pouch, he laughs out loud as a tiny mouse runs through his fingers and scurries off into the crevice behind two boulders. Suddenly, you hear the sound of cracking rock above you and look up to see stalactites breaking off from the roof. Throm's booming laugh, which still echoes through the chamber, has made the stalactites vibrate and break off. You yell at Throm to run through the archway as the stalactites start to crash to the floor. This will be a test of your luck. Despite the stalactites crashing all around you, you manage to dash through the archway without injury. You look around and see Throm thundering towards you, one arm held over his head for protection. He dashes into the tunnel and leans against the cold wall, panting heavily, apologizing for starting the rockfall, and offers you his hand to shake.
Oh.
You tell Throm that maybe he should use sign language in future, even for laughing. You both smile and head east once more. The tunnel ends at a large oak door. Throm wastes no time in testing the handle and is somewhat surprised to find the door unlocked. He pushes it open and walks into a torch-lit chamber. Sitting alone on an ornate chair is a dwarf who bids you enter.
A dwarf.
As you do so, the oak door swings shut behind you. Adventurers, you have done well to get this far, says the dwarf.
Maybe.
In a deep voice. However, as you both know, there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions. As Trial Master, it is my duty to Baron Circumvit to let only the most able continue. Therefore, I must devise a test of wits and strength to eliminate one of you.
Nein.
Please do not attempt to dispose of me. It will be utterly pointless, for, as you can see, there is no obvious way out of this chamber, and only I know where the hidden exit lies. Now, if you would care to decide between you who will go first, I shall make the necessary preparations. You look at Throm, suddenly angry that your effective partnership might come to an end. He leans over and whispers in your ear that you should try to kill the dwarf and worry about the exit later.
Maybe. Das ist wirklich etwas, was man im Pen and Paper überlegen sollte. Einfach den Typen töten und trotzdem weiterkommen. Das werden wir gleich rausfinden, bevor ich gleich ins Bett gehe, weil das muss ich auf jeden Fall noch machen. Ich denke, das ist falsch. Oh, aber trotzdem. We'll see it. In a few minutes. Okay. Join Throm. Nein, wir machen jetzt den Trial. Wir machen jetzt den Trial, bevor wir
You
aufhören.
tell Throm that there is no point in killing the dwarf, as you will never find your way out of the chamber alone. You argue that an opportunity of tricking the dwarf might arise later, once you have found the exit from the chamber. So you intend to go through with the dwarf's test. You tell the dwarf that you are ready, and he beckons you to follow him, telling Throm to wait for his return. A secret door opens in the chamber wall, and you follow the dwarf into a small circular room. He closes the door behind you and hands you 2 bone dice, telling you to throw them onto the floor. You roll a 6 and a 2, a total of 8. The dwarf asks you to roll them again.
Why?
And this time, you must predict whether the total will be the same, less, or more than the 8.
What? 8 ist 2 Vierer. Also würde ich eher sagen weniger.
The dwarf congratulates you for guessing correctly.
Yeah,
He tells you that you must now progress to the second stage of the test.
das war easy.
He reaches for a wicker basket and tells you that a snake is held within it. He tips the basket over, and the snake drops onto the floor. It is a cobra, and it rears up in the air, ready to strike. The dwarf tells you that he wishes to test your reactions. Barehanded, you must grasp the cobra below its head, avoiding its deadly fangs.
Easy.
You crouch down on the floor, tensing yourself for the moment to seize it. This will be a tough test of your skill.
Oh.
With lightning speed, you thrust your hand out and grip the cobra just below its open mouth. You lift it up, and with your arm outstretched, you dangle it in front of the dwarf. He doesn't flinch, but says in his calm, expressionless way,
Please put the cobra back in the basket and prepare for the final part of the test. Follow me.
You do what he says and follow him back into the chamber, where Throm is pacing up and down, obviously ill at ease. You wave to him while the dwarf opens a second secret door and tells you to walk on through and wait for him. Again, you comply, and you find yourself in another circular room, although this one resembles a small arena. The floor is covered with sand, and a small balcony runs around the arena wall. Opposite the secret entrance you came in through is an ominous-looking wooden door. Suddenly you hear a shout, and you look up to see the smiling dwarf standing on the balcony. He throws 2 pieces of paper down to you. On one of them, the words, "No crop is," are written. On the other, "Ruin moat." In his ever-calm voice, he says,
If you rearrange the letters of the words, you will find the names of 2 creatures. You may choose which one to fight in my arena of death.
Can you identify the creature by rearranging the letters?
Fight the anagram of ruin mode. No crop is. I don't know, bro. Nee, das kann ich nicht. Also. No crop is. Hier sind 2 O's. Hier ist nur ein O. O ist es wirklich bei den bösen Leuten, aber U ja auch. Ne? Beides hört sich sehr schlimm an. Ich nehme das obere.
You call out to the dwarf, telling him to send in the scorpion because you are ready to fight. Slowly, the wooden door rises, and a huge, grotesque black scorpion squeezes underneath it
and enters the room.
Really?
You draw your sword in readiness and prepare to fight the sinister creature with its huge pincers and deadly sting. The scorpion will attack you with both pincers, and you must treat each pincer as a separate creature, as though you were fighting two creatures. Each pincer has its own skill level and will attack you separately in each attack round. You can only fight one pincer in each attack round, attacking it as in a normal battle. But against the other pincer, you must still attack in the normal way. But you will not wound it, even if your attack strength is greater. You must count this as though you have just fended off its blow. Of course, if its attack strength is greater than yours, it will have wounded you in the normal way.
The scorpion swings its tail at you, but you are fast enough to roll out of the way.
Na come
The scorpion charges
on!
at you with its pincers snapping. You're able to jump quickly enough to avoid their sharp points.
Okay.
The scorpion swings its huge venomous tail above its head. You step aside as it smashes into the floor, and you land an attack from the side. The scorpion swings its tail at you, but you are fast enough to roll out of the way. Speed is improving. You run directly at the scorpion and slice at its pincer as you run by.
The dwarf calls down from the balcony, congratulating you on your victory. He throws the sack down into the arena and tells you to relax and regain your strength for the final part of the test. Then he walks off, saying he will return in about 10 minutes. You open the sack and find a jug of wine and a cooked chicken. The food and drink are excellent, and you feel much better, gaining 2 more stamina points. Fully satisfied, you sit down and await the dwarf's return. After about 20 minutes, the dwarf reappears on the balcony. He calls down to you, saying,
Well, I do have an interesting problem on my hands. Prepare to fight your next opponent.
The wooden door rises once again, and you are surprised to see a familiar face.
Ja, wer hätte das gedacht?
It is Throm. He is cut and badly bruised and doesn't seem to recognize you. He is clearly delirious as he staggers forward with his axe, raised to attack you. The dwarf laughs and says,
The cobra bit him, but he has the strength of an ox and managed to carry on, even though most men would have died. Now you must fight him to decide finally which of you will continue the trial of champions.
You shout abuse at the dwarf, protesting the cruelty of such a contest. He merely laughs, and you have no option but to defend yourself against poor Throm. Despite his wounds, he is immensely strong.
Das geht.
Throm is tall, and you duck, grab him, and ram his head hard into the wall. You hurl yourself at Throm, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow on his chin. Drop to the ground, sweeping away Throm's legs.
Doch.
You hate it, as he howls as his head hits the hard ground.
Exhausted by your long duel, you fall to your knees as you stare at Throm's still body.
A bitter loathing for the dwarf fills your heart. Somehow, you will avenge Throm. Engulfed in your hatred,
I will.
you do
I
not
will.
notice the dwarf enter the arena until he is standing right in front of you, a loaded crossbow aimed at your chest.
I know what you are thinking,
He says calmly.
but remember that only I know the way out of here. Get up. It's time for you to leave.
Once on your feet, the dwarf indicates that you should walk ahead of him. Back in the chamber, he crosses over to the northern wall and pushes against one of its stones. A door-like section of the wall swings out, opening into another crystal-lit tunnel. With his crossbow still aimed at your chest, the dwarf smiles, saying,
Good luck.
The tunnel soon divides into two. You hear a buzzing sound coming from the western branch. The tunnel leads into a dark chamber covered in thick cobwebs. Clawing your way through them, you trip over a wooden casket.
Open.
The casket opens easily, and inside there is a black velvet bag containing a large pearl, gaining you 1 luck point. After putting the pearl in your pocket, you press on through the cobwebs. You reach the far wall of the chamber and see 2 doors. The door opens into another tunnel running north. Ahead you see 2 stone fountains, one on either side of the tunnel, carved in the shape of cherubs. Water spouts from their mouths and cascades into small bowls at their feet. Leaning against the left-hand wall of the tunnel, you see a pair of bamboo stilts. They are securely chained. And you see a label attached to a padlock, which reads, "The price of these stilts is 1 gold piece. Place the coin in the slot to release the lock." A little farther on, you come to a section of the tunnel which is covered with thick green slime. It looks threatening, so you decide to test it first with a piece of cloth. The slime's corrosive jelly burns the cloth instantly, leaving no trace. You take off your shirt and tear it in half. You wrap a piece around each foot to give yourself some sort of protection against the corrosive slime, and dash across it in giant leaps. On the firm ground beyond the slime, you frantically try to rip the burning shirt off your feet with your sword. However, some of the slime has eaten its way through to your ankle, costing you 3 stamina points. Setting off north again, you come to a junction.
Come on, north.
You soon arrive at a double door in the left-hand wall. You listen at the door but hear nothing. You try the handle, it turns, and you open the left door slightly and peer through the crack. An armed warrior is lying face down on the floor of a bare room with smooth walls and a low ceiling. He is presumably dead, for he makes no movement, even when you call out to him. A large jewel, perhaps a diamond, lies just beyond his outstretched arm.
Ja, wir müssen ja die ganzen
You
Dinger.
finally reach the warrior's body, but as soon as you touch the jewel, both it and the warrior vanish into thin air.
Come
You hear the
on.
door slam behind you, followed by a sudden, ominous rumbling above you. You look up.
Surprise,
You see the
motherfucker!
ceiling start to lower. You run to the door to try to escape, but it is locked, and there is no handle on the inside. The ceiling gradually drops until you are forced to lie on the ground, trying to halt the ceiling's progress with your hands and feet.
Alter.
But it is a hopeless task.
It's a hopeless
You
task.
are crushed to death in the stone vice. If only you'd found a potion that allowed you to detect traps like this.
Okay. So we did a lot today. Großartiges Spiel. Ich werde es immer in Erinnerung behalten. Morgen geht's vielleicht weiter, vielleicht auch nicht. Es ist auf jeden Fall groß und einen schönen Abend noch.